After Malang, my next destination in Indonesia was Banyuwangi, a coastal city in the much quieter easternmost part of Java. Everyone who goes to Banyuwangi has a special mission, hiking up to the crater of Kawah Ijen, the largest acid crater lake in the world, and I was no exception. Although Mount Ijen is undoubtedly the star attraction here, the charming city of Banyuwangi offers its own delights. Moreover, this part of Java Island is known for its breathtaking landscapes. My next task was to find a tour to Ijen crater, which was not difficult at all. Most accommodations in Banyuwangi handle tour bookings. And then it was the third time on my trip to Indonesia that I set out on an expedition in the middle of the night to be at the destination before the break of dawn. The roads were dark, lit up only by the vehicle's headlights. The surroundings were covered in darkness, but the visible tree line on both sides of the road indicated a beautiful landscape would be unveiled after sunrise. It's about an hour's drive from Banyuwangi to the starting point of the hike. Here the guide provided information about the hike and the crater.
For 2,400 meters above sea level, and we will see the largest acidic crater in the world. Wow, wow, wow. Nice. So how to wear it, just easy. Look at the bottom one, just hanging on your neck, just like that. And then try to put on your nose.
Shortly after, we began the hike. It was about 3 in the morning. Although the hike is very much doable independently, the organized tours do take care of things like transportation both ways, gas masks, headlamps, and the entrance fee. The first 500 meters is a level and easy walk. Then the path begins to take on incline. The trail is well defined, but it is pitch dark, so use of some kind of a flashlight is absolutely necessary. The entire hike is about 4 kilometers one way, out of which about 2 kilometers is a continuous uphill climb with some really steep sections. It's not that easy to speed up on these inclines. People often take rest stops on the sides of the path. The altitude at the crater is 2,300 meters, and the total elevation gain from the starting point to the crater is 450 meters. On an average, it takes between 1 to 2 hours depending upon individual fitness levels. The hike could be challenging for those who are not used to regular physical activities and may take them a bit longer. It took me 1 hour and 45 minutes to reach the crater. The toes sometimes hit the small rocks jutting out of the ground. There are rest stops on the way offering hot drinks and fireplace. Those who do not wish to climb have the option to hire a trolley. These trolleys, also known as Ijen taxis, are like carriages on wheels. Usually it takes 3 men to haul them up. The path gets quite narrow at times, but there is proper fencing on dangerous curves. The final kilometer was more or less a level stretch, and indeed a welcome respite after all that incline. Although the surroundings were still dark, the skies had begun to show the first light of dawn. The smell of sulfur indicated that I had reached the destination. The trail of smoke that emerged from the crater started to become visible as it got brighter. As the sun rose, one of the world's most breathtaking natural wonders revealed itself in its full magnificence. One can walk quite some distance on the rim of the crater. There are numerous viewpoints on the way that offer spectacular vistas of the landscape. As the sun came up, the sky became a canvas painted with hues of orange, pink, and blue. Kawah Ijen is a crater lake and is one of the several craters within the caldera that was formed after massive explosions in an old volcano. This area is called Ijen Volcano Complex now. The striking turquoise color of the lake is the result of high concentration of sulfuric acid and other minerals mixed in its water. Kawah Ijen is an active crater. Sulfur-rich toxic gas is continuously released from its vents, and it is an active sulfur mining site. Yellow sulfur stains can be seen all over the place, especially along the shore. Although many people have shared their experiences of descending into the crater in the past, when I visited, the guide told us categorically it was prohibited.
Less and less. And another one, the really important is dangerous one, because we have a sign that every single visitors are forbidden to go down.
It's a volcanic terrain. The jagged rocks and cliffs create a brilliant contrast against the turquoise waters and blue skies. It almost looks unreal. Amidst lush vegetation along the trails on the crater's rim, a few leafless trees stand out. Perhaps they have evolved to survive in the aftermath of volcanic activity. They do add a touch of mystery to the overall atmosphere. The landscape of this place is stunning. It is like an open-air museum set up by nature itself to display its own incredible capacities. The color of the water changes once again as the sunlight hits the lake surface. In the heart of Kawah Ijen, a community of sulfur miners faces a grueling routine. Ijen is one of the few places in the world where sulfur mining is still done manually. Armed only with basic tools, damp cloth as protective gear, and worn-out footwear, these resilient men descend into the active crater, navigating noxious fumes to extract solidified sulfur deposits. They climb up the treacherous path, laden with heavy baskets, weighing anything between 50 to 80 kilos, and walk another 3 to 4 kilometers to the collection point. They may have to do 2 to 3 rounds per day. This is one of the hardest jobs in the world. Despite the hazards, harsh conditions and low wages, the miners persist, driven by economic necessity. The path was well visible in the daylight, and this was the time when I actually saw the incline. While hiking up in the dark, I could barely see a few feet in front. In the darkness, not realizing how steep it was, I pressed on undeterred, taking one step at a time. Had I seen the path while hiking up, maybe I would have felt a bit anxious. The path is covered with loose dust, making hiking down these inclines really difficult. Many people were slipping. The best way is to really focus on placing feet firmly to avoid slipping or falling. By the end of the hike, everyone's clothes, shoes, bags, hair, everything was covered with dust. Somehow, a lot more people had hired the trolleys on the return. It was probably difficult to control the speed of these heavy trolleys on steep sections. It was indeed a bit scary to see these guys running with the trolleys, steering them at the same time. The path goes through a forest with lush vegetation bordering both sides. Occasional bursts of wildflowers can be seen along the way. Soon it was the end of the hike, as I had reached the point where I had started from in the morning. The return took about 55 minutes. All the shops were open now and ready with fresh breakfast. Everyone seemed happy to enjoy a hot drink or snack after a long day. Although the day had warmed up by now, some people still chose to sit by the fire. As we started our drive back to Banyuwangi, the surroundings that were hidden in darkness were revealed in their full glory. The 1-hour drive on the way back was a delight. I was completely immersed in the beautiful landscape of East Java and did not realize how time had passed, and I was back in Banyuwangi.
But we are happy